Hello, my lovely soul sisters. Welcome to Awaken You with Shelly Bond. Please head over to iTunes and leave Awaken You with Shelly Bond a 5-star rating and a review. It means the universe to me. It really helps us share this on a broader platform. And please share this on your social media or just share this via text message with any woman that you feel could use this message. I love you and I'm so freaking grateful for you. Welcome to my show where we talk about love, where we allow ourselves joy and compassion, where we are open to our authenticity, where speaking our truth is our birthright and we claim our abundance, our prosperity. Welcome here to this space where I share my love for healing, my love for connecting with women on a soul level, because I believe that we all have a purpose on this planet, and I am here to help you awaken that aspect of yourself. I am here to help you claim your inner power of safety and trust and creativity and confidence and love and healing and speaking your truth and intuition and connecting with those around you. Here and now is this space that I have created to join women together. I love you and I'm so grateful for you. May we lead with love and light, joy and compassion, my beautiful soul sisters. Hello, my beautiful soul sisters. How are you today? Let's just together bring a big breath into the body through the nose, round, roll the shoulders up towards the ears, kind of hold everything in. Make yourself soften and exhale. Let's do that again. Breathe it in, hold everything in. Exhale, soften. 2 more. We've got this. Breathe that breath in. Exhale, let it go. Last one. Make it count, my lovelies. Exhale. Now we can show up from a more grounded perspective. I don't know what it is with all of the energy lately, but there's been a lot of wacky energy constantly happening within me and around me and my kids. So I really rely on my breath practice like this. And then I also will do a grounding practice where I imagine roots shooting down into the earth. Or sometimes when that fails me, I'll imagine crystals from the earth shooting up and then just helping anchor me here, because I often can get sucked into the trap of all of the energy everywhere. So just notice that within yourself when you're feeling like those days where you're just like flying away or you feel like you don't get anything done. Sometimes I do that. I feel like I'll just like wander my house, or even if I'm cleaning, I'll go from one room to the next room to the next room, and then I feel like I'm not getting any progress done. It's like, okay, Shelly, you need to ground your energy here and you need to like get it together. Come back here. So I was thinking about what's on my heart today and what I wanted to share. And there's been a lot of different things. It's focus, Shelly. When I think of what I've been really experiencing this week has been holding space for one of my soul sisters who's going through a very difficult time with her 18-year-old son. And he got into some very big trouble legally, and I don't want to share all the details because it's not mine to share, but it's been really, really heavy on her, and she's like my soul sister. And wow, when your people are in pain and all you can do is love them and show up for them, and that's what I've been doing, is just trying to be here for her. And she's a single mom of 5, and she's also a healer, and it's been challenging, and it's been also like this huge gratitude practice for me to just really be so grateful for where I am in my life. And it's like, no matter what's happening in our lives, if we think we've hit the bottom of the barrel and our life is so bad, there's always somebody experiencing something so much worse. And again, just when these people that we love so much are struggling, what is it that we can do? The small things, like I could help her pick her son up for school, or take him for a play date after school, or she came over and we did some yoga and this beautiful healing practice, and it was so wonderful. She had been out of town for the past 3 weeks before this big upheaval happened in her family, and we went, it wasn't this summer but last summer, we were like 6 days a week practicing yoga or going for hikes together. We were so like on. And then this last summer we were not as on. And then even last winter we were practicing yoga together at 6 a.m. like 2 days a week. And so yesterday we practiced yoga, and she came over and just so raw and so vulnerable and just so exposed, and it was wonderful. I got to kind of move with her and help her feel what it feels like inside of her body and allow her to be sad, and I held space for her to cry and without saying words. And then I got to do a beautiful drumming ceremony for her, and then I also got to do some dowsing and help remove some really yucky negative energies that were on her, and I got to help replenish her energy, and that was really wonderful. And I'm always just so grateful and almost like in awe of all of these gifts that I have to share with people. And it's like we all go through challenging times and struggling times, and we can sink down, 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 down. But it's like, it's these times where it matters the most, where we can, like, what we can do for ourselves to help us move us through what we're experiencing and all of this pain. And, it's right now, it's kind of this mental, emotional pain for her that she's experiencing because she does not know what's going to happen with her son. And he chose choices that he chose, and he is an adult, and there's nothing she can do about it. She can't even go to his like court case, which is so crazy, I think. And I'm just like putting myself in her shoes and imagining if that was Milo or my nephew Kelton or Mom. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges, is that fear of the unknown. A lot of us, most of us, we get so stuck up in the fear of the unknown. And it was so interesting because yesterday morning I woke up late. I woke up earlier, and I've been listening to Louise Hay's, I think it's like 25 minutes morning meditation, and I'm going to share it in the description. It's on YouTube for free if you pay for the YouTube Red, which I recommend because then you don't get the commercials. If you get the commercials, it just kind of is, I feel like, negating some of the practices. But it's this beautiful meditation, and it just kind of brings you into gratitude. And you just kind of lay in bed. She asks you the best place to do this practice is in bed. So I decided I'm going to be doing this practice again. And yesterday was the first day. And then I woke up though, and I was just kind of like, Jack has had a little cold, and Junie was going to her homeschool enrichment group, and it was supposed to snow in the afternoon, and I'm fighting with my kids about them wearing snow boots and snow pants and just like stupid things that when they were little, they would just put their fucking snow pants and their snow boots on. And now they're like, no, Mom, no, I can't wear snow pants. I'm like, you're wearing snow pants. I got you really nice snow pants and snow boots. It's freezing outside. It's going to be snowing. You're going to wear them. Well, so yesterday morning, I was just like, I felt like I was just like scattered into a million pieces. And this is just like a confirmation for me that when I don't take time to move my body in the morning, it just like movement for me really helps me ground into my body. But when I don't, like, even I did this beautiful meditation, and I was just like, I was pulled in like a million different directions. And the day just kept progressing like that. And Rex and I got into a fight. It was like so ridiculous. It was like, we make French press coffee. And so I usually take the whole coffee beans and I put them in the grinder, and then I push the button. Well, I don't know if I push the button is the thing, but I put the beans in the coffee press, I boiled the water and then I poured the hot water, and Rex is like, you didn't even, like, he probably didn't yell like that. He's like, you didn't even you didn't even grind the beans. I'm like, yes, I did. Yeah, I grounded the beans. Of course, my ego is like snapping. And then I'm like, quit micromanaging me. I really am upset with how much you micromanage me all the time. And he's like, I'm not micromanaging you. I'm just looking, and you didn't ground the beans. But of course, my ego was like, don't tell me, because right now I'm making Milo's breakfast and his lunch. And this is also another thing that I've noticed, that my day and my morning goes so much smoother if I make the boys' lunch the night before. But, and Junie, because she had her enrichment program that day yesterday, but I didn't. So it's like, it's on me then to like make all the breakfasts and make all the lunches. And I think if I have the sister, Jenny, and her boys literally wake up early. They make their breakfast and their own lunch. They just do, because she is like, I'm not making your breakfast and lunch. But then there's this part of me that's like, I still like making their breakfast and lunches, because it's like my act of love, my act of, like making them. So I'm sending them with love. But it was stressing me out. So I got just kind of like plugged into this, like, I think fear of the unknown, and just like, oh my gosh, there's too many things. I can't do all the things. And meanwhile, my couch is like filled with like 6 freaking piles of laundry. Still is today. We started finishing our basement yesterday, which is really exciting, because we always say we're going to finish basements in our houses, and then we just never do, because it's expensive and it's time consuming and it's all of the things. Well, the universe has aligned, and our basement is like 50% framed today. It's crazy. Like, I'm going through all of like the permits and the water tap fees, and we had a beautiful neighbor who happens to be an engineer come and engineer the drawing and the plan, and it is like coming to fruition. It's so cool. It's like you can just make anything out of anything. But yesterday it was just like, bah! And then my friend came over, like I was sharing, and we did yoga in the midst of like the 6 freaking loads of laundry and my messy ass house. And she doesn't care. She was struggling anyway. She's like, I love it when your house is messy. It makes me feel so much better. And then I actually am really excited, and it's kind of like a bittersweet. I'm getting a new cleaning service. My old cleaning service it was just lots of different things, and she's kind of looking to get out of the cleaning industry, and she said lots of things, and I just felt like it was like, you know what? This is your way out, sister. Like, you go do what you need to do to grow and expand. And then I had a new cleaning service, but in my mind, of course, I'm like, I have to clean my house before the cleaning lady comes. And she was just coming to look at the house. So of course I like spend the morning cleaning my house. And then I have this meeting with this beautiful woman who's actually a yoga instructor. And she started this cleaning company 4 years ago. And she was a divorced mom, and it turned into like a thriving company. And it was really cool, because she kept sharing, like, I really believe how when we're in flow, that things just keep aligning. And she said, we just got so busy, and we're just in flow and flow and flow. And I now have 16 employees. And I thought, that's so freaking amazing. Like, it just shows. So it's like in life, when we're in flow, right, then things do really just work out. They do. They work out, which is bringing me to the Hive Soul Sisters Collective, my women's circles. And we were so in freaking flow. Me and the founding 4, there's 4 of us women. We facilitated 3 monthly women's circles. And then the 4th one, just like no one. It was like crickets. And the 5th one is supposed to be this Saturday. And same thing. It's like crickets. And our energies have been kind of like scattered and spread all over. And we actually had a meeting this week, and it was a really good meeting. We like really got to collaborate and be like, you know what? We think the universe is like telling us to stop the circles right now, but it doesn't mean we need to like break this energy. And so we decided, it was actually beautiful, to once a week, we're going to send out kind of like an inspirational email to our Soul Sisters Collective. And it was really great, because we got to collaborate, and then there's 4 of us. So it's not like every single week you have to do it. So over the next 2 months, one of us is going to take a week and upload it to our our system, our MailChimp that we're using, and share that to keep the energy growing. But it was like, I feel like the big message was to pay attention when things are just kind of like at a dead end, or things are just not working out, or they're crumbling and they're falling apart. And it's like, sometimes I have to scratch my head and I wonder, okay, is the universe telling me to stop and pick a new route? Or is the universe telling me to like climb over the hurdle? Because no matter what we do in life, it's hard and challenging. I think of writing my book, Awaken You. There were so many times where I just wanted to be like, no, I can't do this. And so in those experiences, I had to stop and I had to find a new route. And I feel like that's kind of what we're doing with the Hive Soul Sisters Collective, is we're stopping and we're rerouting. And maybe right now we're called to kind of more connect in this online space. And that still feels good. It does still feel good because we still have the energy. And there's something just so magical about the four of us women when we get together. It's like a very divine thing. And it just is. It's meant to be. And yeah. And it's just like, And so with this whole like, okay, is the universe telling me to stop, or like try again, or to just like find a whole new way, or maybe this isn't meant for me? And maybe just kind of for you in your life, you can just kind of do a little soul searching or a little reflection and just notice in your life where you've had or experienced a lot of resistance, a lot of pushback. And if every time you try to take like a step ahead, you get pushed back 5 steps, which that happens sometimes in experiences. And knowing that those are just universal lessons, that the universe, which this can be hard to hear, especially after with my soul sister, I was telling her, remember, Jess, the universe is only giving you what you can handle. And she said, it's really hard to hear that. I've heard that a lot this week and I don't know if I'm buying it anymore. And I fucking get that. I get that when it's like, when life is seeming so hard and so challenging that it can be hard to hear that. So maybe you need a new message. Maybe that is that beautiful Glennon Doyle quote, I can do hard things, which again, if you didn't know, I have that laminated. I printed it up in like a really bright, bold font. And then I got those like laminating like papers. I love laminating things. Do you like laminating things? It's great. I have affirmations around my house. I figured out, because I do have affirmations all over my house, the ones that I don't laminate, they usually just like fall off the wall, or they get like water or food or crusty boogers from kids. You never know. And so the ones I laminate, they stick. I can do hard things. And so I've been feeling kind of like at this wall with like creating my online business. And I've been feeling more of like, I've been at this like standstill. And I'm so grateful because I did an energy exchange with one of the founding 4 from the Hive, my beautiful soul sister Caitlin, and she's a life coach. And we are trading some coaching sessions for some energy work and some energy malas. And it was so wonderful to just kind of take that time to focus on me and what it is that I want. Because if you are a mom, and you will know, it's like so easy to get so overconsumed in your kids and what they're doing. And then if they're sick, or like the house is like a constant battle, and keeping things clean and organized, and laundry for me is a constant battle. Like right now, I'm like, oh, my couch is full with probably, it was 6 loads yesterday. It's about 8 loads that I've just like I just need to do it. Just do it. I need to just put on a podcast and do it. Just freaking do it. It's like, what is the one thing that's like hindering you in the back of your mind? Like maybe it's housework. Maybe it's like a chore. Maybe it's having a hard conversation with a person, or maybe it's something at work that's like not working, that you're like, God, I really know that I need to do this thing, but I just keep procrastinating it. That's what I'm doing with my laundry. And I need to just freaking do it. So I'm making a pledge after this. I'm just going to do it. And I'm going to embrace it. I think you have to remember that it's like the way we feel when we're doing things is what manifests. And the more I'm like feeling like, whether it's, right now it's my laundry and it's been my business. I've been like, oh gosh, it's too hard. I can't do it. Well, freaking Shelly, you just said it. Listen to your own messages. I can do hard things. I can do hard things, not just about the laundry. This is not just about the laundry, but it is the laundry, because that's just like, it just shows me where I'm also having a block. I can see it a lot in my house. Do you see that in your house? Like, look around your house and just notice the spaces that you neglect in your house. And then you can think of within the mind, like the emotional state, the energetic state, that like we have blocks in our lives, and we kind of like, we show it through in our physical life, and we don't even mean to. Like, even in my car, there's times where my car is just like spick and span and I have all the things cleaned up. And then there's times where I'm like, I just ignore it and I let it go. And it's like, okay, I really feel like that's like this transmutation of like, okay, I'm blocking something and I'm ignoring something. And so let us use this as a lesson, as a teacher, that the universe is always giving us these lessons. And that I was able to have this beautiful coaching session with this beautiful woman, and to just like take time to focus on me, which as a mom, it's hard. It is hard to take this time to just be like, I'm going to focus on me and focus on my business, because I've been so doing everything for everyone else. And right, even as like self-help guru I am and all the things, I still find myself, it's like, okay, Shelly, come on, check yourself, girl. Check yourself. Today I actually did do a lovely yoga practice and hula hooping, and I was like, I feel better. I feel good because I move my body. I'm moving my body and like making mindful decisions towards being healthier. And when you move your body, it's not just your physical health that you're improving. It's your mental and your emotional health too. And have you ever had a coaching session? I have never had a coaching session. But before the coaching session, I canceled it twice. I did. I do that sometimes. I'm like, I don't have time for this. And finally I was like, Shelly, do the freaking coaching session. It is such an amazing, cool thing to have. Like, we coach our kids for sports. Like, we are parents, we are coaches. But to have actually someone help coach you in your life and just give you kind of like these reminders and this kind of guidance that you're on the right path, or to help you set goals and to follow them, because we were not meant to be on this planet alone. And I know for me, I do get way more amped up and way more energized when I'm in a group of people. Like, it's just true, the right group of people. Let me correct that, because I could be around the wrong group of people and then I could be like, retreat. But it was so cool because there were so many things that, like, there was this questionnaire, and she just like asked me like, what are your goals? And I was saying, well, I want to grow my YouTube channel and my podcast, which I'm growing this beautiful podcast of mine. And I want to build my online platform. And then she was asking, well, what kind of self-limiting beliefs or thoughts do you think stop you from doing that? And I was like, oh, the self-limiting beliefs. Well, what do they like to tell me? It's like, sometimes like, oh, you can't do this. Oh, people don't want what you have to offer. It's like, the list is endless of all of the things. And it's funny kind of like writing that down on paper. It's like, none of that is even true. Everyone that I work with who like, they appreciate me and love what I do, and I love what I do. And that's the bottom line. And I have to think of like growing my YouTube channel and my website even. It's not about like fame and notoriety. My intention behind all of these platforms is to share my love for healing and to awaken and bring, actually, I was really thinking about this. Actually, let's like get a little bit more like focused, is really what my main intention is to bring as much love and freaking healing to the world as possible. That is my main intention, is to bring as much love and healing, and to help awaken whoever is ready, whoever is willing. And knowing that awakening is a journey. It's not an endpoint. And there's so many ways that we can just wake up to our lives, to just wake up to who you are and to what it is that you were put here on this planet to do. And And sometimes I discount, being a mom and all the things I do around here, but that is a freaking huge job to raise humans, to make sure that they're fed and clothed and taken care of and loved and supported, and then also plugging them in and helping them support them and doing the things like that is a huge job. And sometimes I discount that because I'm like, oh, all these other things, because my ultimate goal of, opening my healing center, it's like I have to still, I am always a mom first, like wife and mom. I feel like I'm definitely a mom first over a wife. I love my husband, but it's like I am the mom first. Like that is my job. And then I will put my business on the back burner. And this coaching session was just like it was really wonderful because she just asked me where I am and what I've been doing. And I've been feeling like I haven't done anything. But then I told her, oh, I've been doing my 300-hour yoga teacher training. I've reached out to help someone help me create my online platform, my website, because that is stressful to me because I'm definitely more of the creator than I am the techie person. And it's just so nice to have people who can do that. And I'm trying to think of other things. And it was so wonderful. And she said, I just want you to stop for a moment. I want you to realize all the things that you've actually been doing for your online business, that I podcast every week, that I post to Awaken You Healing Center on YouTube every single week, that I'm taking my yoga teacher training that's going to help me on my website, right? Because I'm becoming a 500-hour yoga teacher, that I actually learned, and I'm doing dowsing, which is energy clearing. And that too, it's like all of these things are just the steps that are bringing me to where I want to be. And even if they're not like these huge, extravagant, giant things, that like everything is a step. And I'm thinking of my basement. Like we've been thinking about finishing this basement for the past 2.5 years. And we finally kind of downsized and cleared out the space, and that took forever. And finally had someone come over and measure, and it was like all little things that were just like, didn't seem like, kind of measly, like, oh, this is not making a difference. But all of those steps got us to where we were. And then getting all the lumber and then helping carry the lumber in and then stacking the lumber up. And then now there's actually framing, like there's physical evidence. And I think that's probably what I'm always looking for, is that physical evidence to like see, but it's not always so freaking physical. Like there's so much in the invisible manifestation realm that we don't even realize that is happening. It's happening right now. And I was dowsing this morning. I made a beautiful mala this morning, and just so lovely. And I doused it. And at the end of this dowsing cue was, with our emotions, like whatever we feel inside of our body is what we bring into manifestation and we put into action. And a lot of the times why things don't work out for us, and when it comes to manifestation or what we want, is, well, let's think of, there's a few different factors, not just like black and white, cut and dry, that perhaps that's not what the universe has intended for us. Because sometimes we get so in our head about it. We're like, I want, I need. And the universe is like, nah, or you're not ready for that yet. Like, no, you need to do this and this and this first. Or we're not actually feeling and believing the thing to be true. Because I know a lot of times where I'll do my manifesting practice and then that self-doubt comes back, and then that self-doubt really works a number, and then it sucks you down. So the universe is getting all of these different mixed signals. And think of that we're these vibrational frequency beings, and all of our thoughts have like a wavelength. Like if we're putting out happy thoughts, like those are more positive, high vibrational waves, and like attracts like. And if we're putting out like, oh my gosh, so much self-doubt, no one wants to do this, I'm not ever going to get that job, blah, 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 whatever it is, low vibration. And again, like attracts like. So the more we get stuck in those low vibes, the more they keep coming, which is like, what? Why doesn't that seem right? It's just like the days when we're late, we hit every red light. Or I up in the mountains, you get stuck behind, like we're already running late to school, and there's like a herd of like 50 elk that are crossing the road, and then my son's screaming at me. I'm like, what is my freaking lesson here? We don't always have the answers. What do you think? Like maybe 7 times out of 10 we don't have the answers. Maybe more like 3 out of 10. What is the real truth of that? Maybe we're not always meant to have all of the answers. Maybe, just maybe, my beautiful soul sisters, that we were intended to be at this exact moment, in this exact space in time and reality and dimensions that we are. I was meant to be sitting here in my closet talking to you, my beautiful soul sisters. You were meant to be listening to this. We were meant to be connecting on a heart level here. That we get so stuck up in the ego, that inner voice who's telling us everything we're doing wrong. But what if there's no right or wrong? What if right or wrong is just one of those misperceptions, one of those stinky labels that we've created that maybe sometimes makes us feel better, most of the time makes us feel worse? What if we can just freaking be, let go, and just surrender to this moment and just show up? And even if it's like me, that big ass pile, I say pile, it's more of like a freaking mountain of laundry, legitimately spread across my giant couch, my 3-seater recliner couch that I'm 5'9", that goes up to the back of the top of my head. It's a very tall couch. It's very full. That I was meant to be here to experience all of this. What if? What if we can just freaking go? What if? I think of that. I've been off and on struggling with my daughter, who is on her 4th period, which is like so crazy. I'm like, she's almost had her period for half of a year. That's nuts. And she's just having all of these just like intense hormones, and her patience is not very high. And then my patience isn't very high. And we homeschool 3 days a week, and it can be a challenge a lot of days. Like, she has this beautiful like schedule that I wrote out for her. Like, I actually got her like a planner to like help her keep accountable. And we write down all of the lessons and all the workbooks that she needs to do. And then she has like a checkbox. So it's like pretty easy. And we put like a sticky note underneath because she gets really overwhelmed with like the list. And so it's like, okay, Junie, just take it one thing at a time and then check the list. And she knows that she has to do this. Like, she's been homeschooling. This is her like 3rd year of homeschooling. She knows the things that she does for her homeschool. But with this like snassy patassy attitude, she's just like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. That's stupid. This is the new thing. My kids are always saying everything's stupid. We're idiots. And it like is like crushing me. Oh, I'm like, you are putting out so much bad energy. And I say that, and then that makes them even more mad. And then I'm like, okay, fine. I'm just here to lead the way. And gosh, the other night I was just like having one of those nights where I'm doing all my gratitude practices, and then I'm reaching for my forgiveness practice. And if you haven't been, are you doing your gratitude practice? Have you been forgiving yourself at night? I really encourage you that like every night, at least 4 nights a week, make sure that you are doing your forgiveness practice. And every night do your gratitude practice. Do not forget, even if it's just 3, I'm grateful, I'm grateful, I'm grateful before you fall asleep. I say it to my kids, say it to your kids, teach your kids, because you are your kids' greatest teacher. Like, yes, if your kids go to school, that's awesome, but we need to also be helping them. And continuing the story and the ranting, was I was laying in bed and I was just feeling like a lot of turmoil about my relationship with Junie, just thinking like, yuck, I don't like the way that we're always bickering and fighting with each other. And it's like, most days, like, we're the only people each other like has interaction with. Like, yeah, we go pick up the boys and we'll see, like the people at school, but we are in each other's lives like all of the time. And I was thinking like, this is not healthy. I want to change this. Like, there's something we've got to do. And then it was like, I think my guardian angels or spirit guides were like, Shelly, you guys need to get more into a flow. Like, you need to have more flow in your relationship. Like, flow. And then of course, like what came up was like ebb and flow. It's like sometimes it ebbs and flows. And I particularly think of water and like a stream, and sometimes it's like raging, rafting water. And I know that we're all humans, like having this spiritual experience, or what is it? We are all spirits having this human experience, and everything is energy. everything is energy. And you probably heard, if you listened last week, about how Junie and I made that emotional awareness chart. And it's like, I understand that we are meant to feel these waves of energy and that they come and they go, and kind of because Junie and I are so in tuned, it's like it rolls from her and grows through me and then grows back, and it's like wow, wow, wow. And I've really been just like bringing my awareness to how we can have more flow together. And I don't even know if I don't know if I'm 100% sure. I'm going to just say it right now. I'm not sure. I don't know what that means to have more flow with my daughter, but I'm being open to it. And I feel like that's good enough for now. Like, I think that sometimes I get so hard on myself because that inner control freak within me really wants to always know what to do and have this plan in action and follow through with it. But I don't always know. And the other day I was laying in bed and I'm still blogging for the Wee Spot, and I'm like late on my blog to turn into them because I'm just feeling like I'm like scattered everywhere. I've had like sick kids and all the things. And then I was thinking, I was like, couldn't fall asleep that night. And of course, I had my notebook by me and a pen. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's coming to me. And I wrote this blog that hopefully it'll be available. I haven't turned it in quite yet because I'm still writing it on control. And it's in particular, it's like control has served me being a mom for these last almost 13 years. Like my daughter's going to be 13 the end of next month. Like control has been a way of helping them be alive, really, like feeding them and changing their diapers and cleaning them. And then when they started sitting up and crawling, like being in control, knowing exactly where my babies were was super freaking helpful. But now, the older my kids get, they are so resistant to me wanting to control them. Like the snow pants and the snow boots. And I am struggling with it. I'm struggling with that. Like, oh my God, I don't even know how to parent kids that I can't control all of the time. And so I'm just like figuring out new ways of parenting. And because I don't want to be this big mean mom who's just like yelling or like swatting my kids in the back of the head. Like, it's like, that's like how I was raised, and it's interesting how it's like subconsciously it just like comes back, and then if I act like that, I'm like, oh my God, I feel like such an asshole. Like, yuck. I hated when I was a little kid and I would just get like smacked in the face and yelled at and told, go to your room, you're grounded. Like, that just sucked. But then there's moments where I'm like, I don't know what else to do with my kids, and this like constantly like talking back, and like it's like they're telling me, but I'm like, no, you're not. I'm telling you. And like I do believe in like I want to be their friends, but I also am their parent. Like my job is, it's like I have a 13-year-old, a 10-year-old. Like I'm more than halfway through freaking raising these kids, which is like unfathomable. Time just passes. And I have to just be open to new ways of parenting. And it was really funny how, like, okay, so yesterday I was dropping Milo off at his climbing club, and he was like, he loves climbing so much. It's like his jam. He always wants to do it, but he didn't want to do it after school yesterday because his dad and his dad's employees were in our basement framing it. And he was like, I want to go help dad. And he had like the FOMO, the fear of missing out. And I was like, dude, you're going to climbing club. Like, this is your jam. Like, you need to go do this. Like, go get your climbing outlet. And he was like, no. And I forgot, of course, his like climbing shoes and his harness. And he was so mad at me. And he was like, you better go bring them back to me. And just, he was being really rude to me. And I was like, dude, you cannot treat me like this. You cannot treat anyone like this. Stop it. And then it was time to drop him off. And he's climbing, like he's exerting himself, like, Milo, bring your water with you. And he's like, no, I don't need water. I'm just climbing. No. And I was like, Milo, bring your freaking water with you. Like, grab your water. And instead of just being like, rah, and like chucking at him, I said, fine. If you don't bring your water inside, I'm going to go in there and embarrass you so bad about your water. And then he got like so mad at me and like huffed and puffed. And then he grabbed the water bottle and stormed out of the truck and just like walked in. And it was like, I was just thinking in this moment, like, I am being open to new ways of parenting that's not always like belittling my kids or guilting them, because I think I get stuck in that cycle of like guilting my kids because again, it's a pattern. It's a a subconscious programming from when I was a kid. It just is. Like guilt was what you did. And so I'm like trying to re-navigate and relearn like, okay, if you're not guilting somebody, what else can you do? Like, you don't have to try to make somebody feel bad about what they're doing and who they are to improve the situation. Because if you really think of in any experiences or circumstances or relationships, when did guilting or shaming somebody ever help? Never. It never did. It never worked then. And it's sure as heck not going to work now. So we have got to freaking get creative in our ways of communicating with people. So as I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, this whole, like, is that shaming? I don't know what that is. What is that? I don't know. I feel like it was like using humor. I'm like thinking like, is that guilting or shaming him? Like, I'm going to embarrass you. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I'm just saying that it felt better than just yelling at him and just being like, Milo, you're being a jerk. Take your water bottle. And I didn't do that. And I just said, I was like, So I'm like, what other creative way can I kind of like encourage him? I'll just say, hey, Milo, I'm going to come in and sit in front of everyone and start oming as loud as I can and ask everyone to join me. He'd be mortified. And you know what the thing is people would probably do it with me because he doesn't realize people actually like that, especially that climbing vibe. It's just more of that, hey, dude, chill. Yeah. Awesome. High five. Like, that's the vibe of the climbing gym that he goes to. And it's just like good vibes, man, which I actually love it. Like, I'm personally not a climber. Unfortunately, I experience a lot. I experience. We have to remember, like, the way we're speaking. We're not having anything. We're experiencing this fear of heights. Yes, I do. I experience a lot of anxiety, and so I can belay, but my son is fearless, and it's like his happy place. He's like in his groove. Like even the climbing instructor was like, wow, you can really tell that Milo loves this. And he was like, does he just go crushing it with his dad every weekend? And I was like, actually, he really hasn't. Like this summer, he really, like, this is his 4th year climbing, and he really didn't do a lot of climbing this summer because his dad just was more into mountain biking and hiking. So he didn't go climbing a lot. But it doesn't mean that just because his dad is not in love with it anymore that he doesn't have to be. And yeah, it's really cool. Like it's cool to finally, I mean, I've noticed it for a while, but to like notice what my kids are interested in and then just like support it and nurture it. It's like, wow, you love climbing. Awesome. Let's get into climbing. Let's get you a nice pair of climbing shoes and a harness. And he has his own belay device, and he's like stoked. That's what those climbing guys say. I'm stoked. Let's get stoked out. And I love it. And I like the vibe. It's an awesome vibe. And I feel like if I were to encourage my son to do any sort of sports or anything, it's like, I love that there is climbing and I love that there's mountain biking in our community. And Milo was like last minute trying to get into basketball, and he's never like really wanted to play basketball. We have a basketball hoop outside my dad gave the kids for Christmas a few years ago, and the universe didn't align. Like I didn't get to sign him up on time, and I'm actually really grateful because I I think that any kid can go play basketball or football, or maybe not any kid, that's not true, but I love this more like primal, like outdoorsy, mountainy kind of thing. And hello, we're in Estes Park. We're like Rocky Mountain National Park is like in our metaphorical backyard. Like it's like 4 minutes from our house. It's amazing. Yeah, there's my rant on Milo and new ways of communicating. I feel like we just have to always be constantly open to shifting and changing. And it's just like the freaking weather. Like it's now snowing here. Like there is snow on the ground. Like we had snow last week and it melted. And then we had a few beautiful fall days. We actually, for Halloween, had a beautiful fall day. It was like lovely. And then now, like yesterday, it snowed like 4 or 5 inches and it's cold and white and wintry. And it's like, what is nature here showing us? What is she teaching us? to surrender, to just be accepting of whatever is happening in whatever is happening. And even in those moments like yesterday when I was just having this like anxious feeling in my body for like hours. It was just like hours of constant. I didn't have any coffee. I didn't even have my tea. It was like, you could just feel that constant rise of like, and you're just like, we're stuck in that constant state of fear. And if you didn't listen to last week's episode on emotional awareness, I really recommend listening to that because there are things or ways that we can help kind of bring our awareness to our emotions. So maybe holding you accountable to that. Did you practice any emotional awareness this week? If you did listen, or today, maybe that's the challenge that can go again. Maybe you're like, oh yeah, I thought I was going to do that, but I didn't. Did you notice perhaps like yesterday I was not having, we've got to shift that. We don't have anything. That's just like the saying, what's the matter with you? That is like a huge trigger for me. And my husband says it, and my nephews say it, my brother-in-laws say it, and it like, whew. So I'm like, nothing is the matter with anyone. There's nothing the matter with you. Like, yes, maybe you're having a really shitty day or you're being a big butt face, but there's nothing wrong with you as a person but maybe you can try things. But back to that emotional awareness that when we can become aware that we are experiencing whatever this anxiety, this overwhelm, and what does that come from? So we learned last week, if you didn't tune in, that comes from all those low vibrational emotions and feelings. So it's like when we start dipping down into like the anger, the resentment, the regret, the guilt, the shame, the blame, the judgment, and then we just start creeping down to that hate and that fear. And so it's like when we start being in those vibrations, that's when that anxiety comes in hard. And yesterday, it was hard to pinpoint where that anxiety was coming from. And sometimes as an empath, I do my best to ground and protect my energy. But sometimes when you're at home with your closest people, we're really just like open and vulnerable, especially if we have kind of those scattery, frantic mornings where we don't have time to ground our energy. We don't have time to like take time for ourselves. And just remembering that we cannot give from a freaking empty cup. I'll say it again. You cannot give from an empty cup because you imagine your empty cup. Someone's asking you for a drink of water. You're like, well, I don't have any water left in my cup, but I do have some cup. And then maybe you start like peeling little chunks and be like, here, you can have this chunk of the cup. What happens? Oh, you don't even have a freaking cup. You are just depleted. So the whole moral of that metaphor is that you have to freaking fill up your cup, your metaphorical cup. So like taking time for that gratitude practice in the morning, or even just you're noticing like, oh God, I ran out of time. And like today, same thing. I kind of ran out of time. But after everyone was settled, I got around to having a yoga practice at 9 a.m. And I just did it. So it's like throughout the entire day, there's going to be little nuggets or chunks of time where you can take time to practice self-care, where you can take time to be emotionally aware. Even when you're thinking, I don't have time to be emotionally aware. I don't even know what that means. It's just being aware of what you're experiencing inside of you. When you're going pee, how many times do you go pee? I drink so much water and so much tea that I am in and out of the bathroom like off and on like twice an hour. Like, what is going through your head space as you're walking down the hallway, as you're closing the door, as you're locking the door, as you're looking in the mirror at yourself, as you're sitting down to go to the bathroom, as you're maybe taking your shower or your bath or whatever that you're doing to help for your cleansing your body, or brushing your teeth, or putting on makeup, doing your hair. What is going through your mind? Like, those times are really crucial times that we can really help ourselves. That this whole self-help stuff, this works. That in this time, if we can take this time and like plug in our self-care practices in these times, that like we can really help ourselves. Because I've really learned that I need the help. I can't just run through my day like head on without taking time to be an aware human, because it sucks, then I am constantly trapped in that anxiety and that overwhelm. And what I've noticed is that when I take my time for gratitude or my forgiveness practice, or I do a tarot reading or an oracle reading, or I practice yoga. Did I already say yoga? Probably. Or I hula hoop. Like this morning, like I haven't hula hooped in a while. And every time I hula hoop, I'm just like, it just brings me so much joy. And Louise Hay, you've heard of her, one of our beautiful spiritual mentors, is I have this like her daily calendar, and it's kind of like you rip off the day and there's a new picture and a new kind of like inspiring just little like sentence, and one of them was like, I find movement that I enjoy every day. So either if it's walking, or maybe you're just like mindfully moving your body, or today I was making a mala and I'm sitting in, my daughter has this one-legged wiggle stool, and just moving in my body. And then I also have this reflexology kind of like foot massager thing. You just put your feet and you roll them back and forth. Like while I was working, I was like tuning into this woman's energy. I was bringing love and I was bringing healing, but I was also like, finding things that I needed maybe in that moment. And it was magical because it was like I'm listening to my body. And that's the thing. And if you're thinking about like, how can I integrate these practices into those times when I'm going to the bathroom? I just think of that like we're all going to the bathroom constantly, or just that awareness of, what are you thinking when you're looking in the mirror at yourself? Are you like, oh my gosh, you look so good today, Shelly, you're beautiful? Or you are like, oh my gosh, look at those gray hairs. Oh my gosh, I am looking a little plumply today. Or, oh no, there's a chip in my tooth again. Got to get that fixed. Whatever it is, that you know that you can change that you don't have to just be stuck with that. And remember that like attracts like, meaning the more negative, rude comments that you're thinking about yourself, the more they're going to come. The more those mean comments are going to come. And the more you can just bring awareness to bring love and acceptance to yourself, the better off that you will be, the better off you will feel. So if you are in a space where you're just feeling like crap, that maybe you're not loving yourself, I really encourage you, for those moments in the bathroom that maybe you can't face yourself in the mirror and you're feeling really vulnerable and really raw, that you can just put your hand on your heart maybe when you're going pee. Just say, I love you. I accept you. I approve of you. I love you. I accept you. I approve of you. And then perhaps maybe the next time you go to the bathroom, you're going to feel a little bit braver, because you're going to feel like, oh, there is love inside of me. There is acceptance inside of me. There is approval within me. And knowing that we don't have to look for it out there, because that is that false perception that we get our love and our approval and acceptance out there from other people. We were trained like this. It takes time, but know that it comes from you. You have to start with that. And it starts with those little seeds, and remembering that what you think about with feeling is what manifests. And most of the time we're thinking really mean, low vibrational things, and those manifest too. They show up in really shitty experiences. They show up in messed up things that we're like, oh my gosh, why did that happen to me? And then we can kind of revert to that victim, but we're not a victim. We are these aware, awakened humans. And remembering that awakening you is waking up to your life, waking up to your self flaws and all, loving yourself for all of those perfectly imperfect imperfections. To even acknowledge those mornings when that anxiety is coming, because I will share with you that after I had that anxious morning yesterday, I just kind of like hit this point of flow in the day. It was so interesting because a lot of times, like the evening is when anxiety plagues me. Bedtime, if you know me, bedtime can be a huge anxiety riser. And with my kids getting bigger and their like constant need to fight me, like, we're not going to bed, we're too old, mom. Like, okay, yeah, I get it. Oh my gosh, you're so much older. Well, let's go lay in bed and read some books. Like, that's fine. You don't have to go to bed, but let's just like get in our cozy pajamas. Let's lay down, put your reading light on, just like chill. find your body in that space, and it never fails. It's like they'll do their 30 minutes of reading and then they're out. They don't want to stay up later. I mean, sometimes the other night Milo actually read for an hour. An hour. I couldn't even get this boy to like read like before school started, and we finally have like found what he likes. He loves graphic novels. And his teacher even was like, think of graphic novels like dessert. Only read them every once in a while. And I was like, you know what, lady? Like, my sister backed me on this. I am not going to micromanage what my son reads. If he is reading, get it. Go read whatever you want. Graphic novel, not whatever you want, because I obviously do not want him reading like Playboy magazines, which I'm sure that day will come soon, but it has not. So we're not going to go there. But I am going to let him read what he wants to read. So that night, though, I was just like in a very unusually, like really good mood. I was cooking dinner, like communicating with the food, kind of singing, and just, I was in a really good vibe. And it was the first night that I put my kids to bed in a really long time. This was last night. And I was just, it was like good energy all the way around. Like every kid that I went to, their sleep space and snuggled them. And I just had this feeling of ease. And usually I experience a lot of anxiety at nighttime. It's like, oh my God, my kids are going to get to bed. And I realize the underlying fear is that I'll be a bad mom because I see those kids with like the purple eyes. I'm like, I never want to have purple eyes kids, because there's a lot of kids that just don't get enough sleep, and I value sleep. And but I'm letting go, and I'm just and it's like miraculous. So it's like those moments when that happens, I have to acknowledge it, because I don't have so many nights where it's just like a good night, especially with Junie. I struggle a lot with her at bedtime. And maybe that is like some weird self-limiting belief, some weird contract or pattern that we've had in different lives, or the spiritual realm. And maybe I just need to like open towards softening and like letting that go, because I don't have to choose to always be. And you know what? Hello, did you just, I'm giving myself goosebumps. What did I put out into the universe like 3 nights ago? That I wanted to have more flow into my relationship with my daughter and my kids. That was flow. It actually, what? I'm literally just like putting all of these together. Like I say it. Hello, I mean it. That literally happened. I said I want more flow. I put it out. I called it. I named it. I felt it. And then I experienced flow. So, universe, I'm putting it out again that I want to experience more flow, more loving flow, not just flow, because flow can mean a lot of things, like more loving, accepting flow, like getting really concise and clear on our communications and what it is that we want. Thank you. Isn't that so great that I just thank you right there? Just like a little self reflection goes a long way. It goes a long way. I love you so much, my beautiful soul sisters. And for our self care practice today, since I had this lovely experience, that maybe you can call out what it is that you want to bring into your life. Do you want more flow in your relationships? Do you want more love in your relationships? Do you want more clear communication? Remember, our relationships are our biggest teachers. Our relationship with ourselves first. So maybe it's even just, you can call out, I want more love and acceptance towards myself. That can be a really good start, because again, that we can't just like cover up the outside. We can't just cover up the inside and cover up the outside. That's actually a lie, because people cover up the outside all of the time and pretend and fake, but that's not who we are. We are authentic, vulnerable women who call it out, who say the hard things, who show up, and who are. We just are. So I really encourage you for your self-care practice to call out to the universe, to yourself. Maybe you could do it with me right now. Maybe put a hand on your heart and just take a moment to breathe a big breath in. Root your energy down into the earth. Maybe you could allow that energy to rise up through your body like a golden shower, bubbling up, raising up through all the chakras to the top of the head and connecting you to the universe, to the heavens, the divine. Call out, what is it that you are asking? Are you asking for more love, more flow for yourself, more love and acceptance in your relationships? Take this moment for yourself. Call it out. Send it into the universe. Feel it as if it's already here. Feel that flow. Feel that love. Feel that acceptance because it's already yours. It's your birthright. Send it out. And then do that again tonight. Do it when you wake up in the morning. Do it tomorrow night. Call out. Call it out. Speak it as if it's already here. I love you. I'm so freaking grateful for you. Thank you for just allowing this space and showing up with me. You can find my book, Awaken You, on Amazon, and you just search Awaken You Shelly Bond. You can catch me on Facebook, a Shelly Bond, Instagram, Awaken You Shelly Bond, and lovely, amazing classes, free classes on Awaken You Healing Center with Shelly on YouTube. I actually did this really lovely class kind of session, if you will, on empath energy and steps that how we can alchemize our empath energy, which you've been listening. That is huge on my heart right now. I'm writing a book about alchemizing empath energy. And just keep your ears peeled because I'm going to have a website. I'm going to be offering some courses and workshops I'm really excited about sharing. And I'm going to be giving away some free things and then giving some opportunities to grow and expand and to deepen your healing, to deepen your love for yourself, to deepen forgiveness and compassion. I freaking love you. Please head over to iTunes and leave Awaken You with Shelly Bond a 5-star rating and review. It means the universe to me, and it also allows me to share this on a wider range because that's what I want to do. So please share this with someone that you love, someone that you feel like needs it. I love you, and I will be back here hanging out with you next week. Goodbye, my beauties.